Hey there, saltwater anglers, and welcome to the Lower Chesapeake Bay Fishing Report, your local report, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. This podcast is part of the Great Days Outdoors Network, and each week we're talking with local experts to learn how we can become better anglers in our pursuits offshore, nearshore, and inshore. So, let's work together and keep this amazing fishery healthy and thriving for generations to come by remembering to protect what we pursue. Cooler temps have fish on the move, and our expert guides are helping us stay tight with those target species we love to chase. So, let's hear who's making the show possible and then jump into the reports. Listen up. AFTCO has a promotional gift for all Great Days Outdoors Podcast Network listeners. They're now offering a camo sunglasses cleaner cloth with any purchase of AFTCO products. For those cold, wet, or windy days, I especially enjoy my weatherproof fabric barricade jacket, as well as my Helm insulated fishing gloves. All you got to do to get your coupon code is text LCBFR to 779-345-2918. You'll get subscribed to our email list, and we'll send you the promo code via email. Boaters know that the unexpected can happen anytime. That's why Seatow offers 24/7 on-water assistance with priority service for members. Whether it's a dead battery, running out of fuel, or needing a tow, Seatow's fleet is ready to help. Membership includes unlimited towing with no distance or dollar limits in your home area, fuel delivery, jump starts, and more. Plus, members receive exclusive discounts on fuel, electronics, dockage, and boat insurance. With over 500 ports nationwide, Seatow has you covered wherever you boat. Join today at seatow.com and boat with confidence. Upgrade your waterfront with Killer Doc's premium dock furniture, built to last a lifetime in marine conditions. Crafted from marine-grade aluminum with a protective anti-corrosion coating, it's tough enough to handle the elements while providing unmatched comfort. Featuring sunbrella cushions with fast-drying, removable covers, our furniture stays securely in place even in storms. Choose from cabanas, club chairs, love seats, tables, and more to create your perfect dockside retreat. Durability meets elegance at Killer Doc. Check out the full collection at killerdoc.com today. All right, you guys, I want to kick off this week. And, when the temperatures start to get cold and the seas outside of the mouth of the bay get a little rough, your best bet is to head inshore and look to some of the tributaries and creeks and try to get into that skinny water and hopefully get lucky and get on some speckled trout, some puppy drum, or if you're really, really lucky, some striped bass. So I wanted to bring back one of my favorite contributors I get to talk to, who's just a little ways up the creek from us. They're Tangier Sound Charters, Captain CL Marshall. Welcome back to the show, Cap. How are we doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing good, Luke. Good, Luke. Happy to be back with you, man. That's for sure. I know this that today was the first day we've had off in a piece, and it was kind of good to do some of the landlubber based stuff that I don't get to do when we're out fishing. That's for sure. But man, I got to tell you, fishing is good. It is good, dude. I wish you saw the pictures I
Oh
sent,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
and it's just not me. I mean, I don't know why there are no fish to the south of us. There's not a whole lot down there, but from that Potomac River up to the Chop Tank, it's the best it's been in a long time, and I see it's doing nothing but getting better.
So, in your opinion, and just for folks that are listening that have maybe not gotten the chance to hear you give a report before, you're up there, the eastern shore, just above, kind of that Cape Charles area, another like 30, 45 minutes, and you've got access to all those, tributaries that all feed into, the Chesapeake Bay, and that tends to hold a lot of really good bait and of
Yeah.
course fish. But in your opinion, talking about it being better this year than you've seen in a while, what environmental factors or changes, if you will, would you say are contributing to the fishing being that much more plentiful this year?
I know in that area that we've been fishing, and it kind of started a little bit north of the Chop Tank River, or in the Chop Tank, uh, which incidentally is one of the better breeding rivers for rockfish, straight bass, that we have in our area. The Chop Tank historically is one of the strong points for that. That combined with just the massive amount of small peanut bunker that are in the
Mm.
area. When I I see on that damn side scan on the Flutterbird, and it's just clouds and clouds and clouds of bait, and it that can do nothing but really, and there's not fish on all of them. There's fish on some of them, but man, when we find these pods of fish, I sent you some pictures of the bottom machine and the
Oh
sides.
yeah, lit up.
Oh, and it's good. And and what's interesting, Luke, is that you know, just like fishing anywhere else, there are certain tide cycles that they want to bite on.
Right.
And it's nothing more frustrating than to be sitting over top of a school of 300 or 400 fish. You see them on the bottom machine; they're stacked up off the bottom, 10 feet off the bottom, and they won't bite. Uh,
Oh gosh, yeah, that's so frustrating. I had that happen recently when I was trying to catch. I mean, I spent an evening trying to catch a rockfish, and I was seeing them on the machine and just could not get them to bite. I mean, from where you're fishing, obviously you've got, the rivers have a little bit more, I don't know, depth adjustment. Sometimes down here in the Lynnhaven, it's like you're either in just really, really skinny water or you're in the deep, channels. But where you're at, is there like a grade? Like, does it go from deep up to shallow, or do you just have those hard shelves?
I'm primarily catching these fish in the main base stem. Is where I am. Which
Okay.
I'm not in the shallows. I'm leaving at Deal Island, and I'm going through Hooper Straits, and I'm kind of in front of Hooper's Island and behind Smith Island, and and up in that area. Unlike where you are in the southern part of the bay's fairly narrow.
Hmm.
And it's real easy to get over to the other side, to the Chesapeake Beach side, to the mouth of the Patuxent River or to the Potomac. I mean, I say it's only, but it's only like another 10 miles or so,
Yeah, that's
Uh,
really not bad if you're on, primarily flatter bay water. Especially now that you're running that, is it a 25 Parker now that you're
yes,
running that center console? Yeah.
25 Parker with a new Suzuki power on it. And, we can cover the bay pretty quick. The other day,
Yeah.
my youngest son got married,
Oh,
and
congrats.
yeah. And I had his groomsmen on the boat on Friday. We were supposed to have like 16 people, and we were all going to go out with Captain Larry Talls on the Tina Louise, and I was just looking forward to just a good day of all of us yucking it up. Well, that number kind of fell down to about 4 people. So
Oh, wow. Was
yeah,
that because it was cold?
I don't know. Alcohol may have been involved, but anyhow, anyhow, so there was 4 of us, and I told Larry, and I said, "Look, man, it's not. I just don't have the people to do that." He said, "Hey, no problem, dude." So I ended up taking them in my boat. So we went and we had a great. I mean, we jumped right on them with both feet. We got these rockfish, and we probably caught 20 or 30 in a hurry. And I looked at my watch, and it was 10:30 in the morning. Is what time it was. So we'd only been fishing a couple hours. And I was like, "Y'all want to do something cool?" They're like, "Yeah." So from where we were fishing, in front of Hooper's Island, I ran up the Patuxent River, cut in Back Creek. There's a little bar right there. Went in, bought them all around the drinks. They were on Solomon's Island. Went back fishing some more.
That's awesome. Little hair of the dog in the middle of the fishing charter. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, and they were like, "This is the coolest thing ever." And you know what? I get to do that every day.
That's awesome. That's what
So
I was telling, I told you I was talking to my uncle Bruce and my new friend Robert Charles Cooley, RC, I think is what he goes by.
RC, yeah.
And just telling him about, I was like, man, we got to get up there because it's such a unique experience to go up and go fishing for the day, but then have all these cool options of like go do a little historical tour, or go get ice cream, or go get a crab cake, or whatever. It's like you got this whole like cornucopia of options that you can go do in the middle of a charter. Where down here, it's like there are no options. You leave the dock and you're going fishing, and then you're coming back. Whatever sandwich you packed, or natural light you put in your cooler, God forbid, natural ice. Oof. Anyways,
Another story.
yeah, but that's so cool, man. So you showed them a little hair of the dog, got back to fishing, and then what happened?
No, it just continued. But on that trip, my son's a pretty good fisherman, and it was funny. The guys that his friends, they're all professional mates, that were on my boat that day, and one of them mates on the Bill Fisher, and these other boats, and God knows how much money these mates have won that we're standing
Oh
on.
yeah.
And we pull up beside, and we get on this school of fish, and this guy comes over beside us, and he's got the nice whatever boat, and and I'm like, man, how you doing? He goes, yeah, just up here rock fishing. I'm a big offshore guy, and da 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 da. He started, pounding his chest, and I just looked around, and I probably got, I don't know, 20-30 million dollars worth of winning.
Just sitting there.
Yeah, all around me, and I'm like, yeah, man, glad you're having a great day, but
Okay. Keep
but
telling me how great you are. I want to hear more.
yeah, yeah. So I
That's
just,
one thing fishermen love to do, man. We love to pound our own chests and talk about how great we are, as if it's some imaginary pecking order that we're gonna, put ourselves into by saying that we're the best or we're the greatest. It's like, hey, just go fish and
yeah.
have fun and make memories. That's what it's all about.
And when we were talking about it a little bit earlier about these fish stacked up under the boat and not getting able to get them to get them to bite, and it's just very frustrating. And it's very humbling because when it's on, it is WFO, man. It is wide open, and and it's not uncommon to have 3, 4, 5 feet, depending on how many people I got on, and everybody's got a fish on, and I'm running around like a crazy man, and I thrive in the chaos. I do, man.
Yeah.
That's my happy place. And when those fish are there and we can't get them to bite, and this one day I was trying everything I could do. I'm using 1 to 1.5 ounce lead heads on plastic swim baits or Z-Mans. I'm convinced that the Z-Mans are made out of the same stuff that's inside Stretch Armstrong. But anyhow, so we're using whatever, and I'm just changing baits, changing colors, going, what have I got to do to get these things to bite?
Right.
And I started thinking about my approach, Luke, and I went with metal jigs, these new ahi jigs, which are just awesome. If you haven't seen them, they're holographic jig with the two single hooks, man, and
Hmm.
them things are just they're money. They weren't working. The old cripple herons weren't working, and I got thinking about it. Okay, what am I doing here? I said, I know. I'm fishing from the bottom up.
Okay.
I'm letting it go to the bottom, and I'm fishing. I'm bouncing it off the bottom, 6, 8, 10 inches, a couple feet, whatever. And I said, I'm gonna try something different. And what I did was I scaled way back, and I went with the lightest rod I had on the boat. Um, and I scaled back the lead head to about 1/4 ounce, and
Hmm.
put a little bit bigger. As big up, and the damn hook barb of the hook was barely coming out of the 6 inch swim bait I chose, and I couldn't get that to work. But then I went down to a 4 inch swim bait, a rubber fish, one of those freedom baits, and it was pretty laborious because the current's running strong right there, and we're about 30
Right.
feet of water. And I decided I was going to fish from the top down. I was going to let this light piece kind of flutter down through that school. And when we were able to do that, we were able to find success. We were able to elicit some strikes that way. So I had to change my approach a little bit. And, it's not the easiest fishing in the world in 30 feet of water and the boat's moving and everything to throw out that small bait and
Hmm.
have the patience and the feel is so important to have that thing fall and be patient enough to let it get to where it needs to go.
Right.
When we were able to do that, we did find we were able to find some success.
So while you were sharing that, I've thought about, over the now almost year that we've been talking on this show and you've been sharing reports, you're always incredibly gracious to share very specific tips and tools and techniques, specific baits. And one thing I thought that was cool that happened was last week. I got to record with Captain Preston Euchel, and he's putting in sport fishing, and we were talking about trout fishing. And obviously, you and I have talked about
Yeah.
trout fishing dozens of times. And he starts talking, and I said, when the fish get like this, what do you like to do? And he said, well, there's this certain type of popping cork, and I don't know what it is about this particular type of popping cork, but it's something about the thunk that it makes that it's different than all the others. And as soon as he said the name, I was like almost thinking he was going to say the name of it. Well, I'll let you say the name of it because
It's the four horsemen popping cork.
That's it. That's
There's
the
a
one.
there's a lot of popping corks on the market. And they're all
It's that
shit.
one.
The
He
four
said that
horsemen,
one.
baby.
I was like, well, what's your favorite one? He goes, the Four Horsemen Popping Cork, man. And I said, that's too funny. I said, because my good friend, Captain CL, way up the bay from us, he's using the exact same one and he swears by it. So there must be something to it. I said, that's our verification right there that that's the right one. So, anyways, I just had to share that because I thought it was neat. But, back to these stripers,
Yeah.
um, you're talking about changing up when they're not biting and whatnot. What do you think is it the water temperature, time of day, tide? Like, what do you
Tide.
think it is?
It's all tide driven.
Tide.
One of the key things that and my buddy Tim Segru really solidified this with me with School of Rock charters. And Tim's a scientist guy, works for congressional above all things, and
Okay.
he's a NC State graduate in biology, and he understands the science of things, and I don't. And and fishing with him one day on just an R&D trip, we were trying some new baits and stuff, and he pulls up the tide chart on his Garmin, and I would wager to say that half the people that are listening to this have never looked at that on their GPS, and it's incredibly number one accurate, and number two chock full of information. And when he pulled it up, I noticed that we were on the last 15 minutes of the ebb tide. He goes, let's go get a sandwich, there's no need to fish now. And those rockfish specifically, and I don't think it matters much this time of year, whether it's an ebb tide or a flood tide, but that current's got to be moving. We've got to have something to kind of activate that lateral line to get them on the feed. And if that thing's moving, then we're going to get bites. And when that current just stops, then let's do something else for a little while.
Right. And I mean, breaking that down to the lowest level, I mean, what that really means is that in still water, the smaller bait, in this case, the small, peanut bunker, they kind of have an advantage, which makes it harder for the rockfish to actually get them because there's nothing, like when there's current, it's almost like the fish can sort of like pin them up against the current and it's less effort to feed. Whereas still water, the bait kind of has the advantage, right?
Yeah, that very well could be the case. And another thing that folks tend to forget about is speckled trout fishermen get it because they live the shallow water life, most of the time, and
Right.
and folks who fish shallow water get it. But this time of year, man, this water's cold, and it's cold, and if you get a calm day in that cold water, it's amazing how far that seine will travel. It travels because there's no algae, there's no plankton, there's none of the water's.
Right. It's clean,
It's clean. It's
highly conductive, if you will.
yes, and it's gin clear, man. It's nothing. It's almost like tuna fishing. We got a rockfish on. He's 15 foot down, and you can see it, and it's really cool. But that the seine travels so far, and they're birds. So it's we're in bird shows every day, thank the
Hmm.
Lord, and it's just so refreshing, and but you see so many people make the same mistakes again. There's the guy who's gonna run through the birds and push them down. And there's the other guys that want to leave their motors running, thinking it doesn't matter. Well, it does. Everything matters. They're and it's always interesting, when you got the trollers and you got the light tackle guys and the troll, if everybody works together and everybody is has a little bit of etiquette about themselves, then
Hmm.
everybody's going to do so much better.
Right.
And I've seen it happen, so many times, where it'll be me and whoever else, and we've got some breaking fish and some birds, and we're all on the upwind side of them, drifting through with our motors off, stereos aren't blaring,
Yeah.
stronghold, that's for later. and, uh, and we're just kind of drifting through them, and we're catching fish, and we're having a good time,
Right.
but
Right.
yet then there was yesterday, and we had breaking fish, and we had them we were all by ourselves, on the east side of the main bay stem, kind of near Hooper's Island, and we're just having a blast. And here comes old troller guy, and most of the time we get along with those guys. Well, the birds pop up, and they don't usually travel far, so it's no need that whole run and gun thing,
Mm-hmm.
play old bull, be patient, and and they'll pop up right near you again,
Right.
as long as you're quiet. And troller guy, the fish break up, and pop up. And they're about 30 yards from us, and he's coming onto my port side, and so I start just gently easing up, matching his speed, and I look, and he's kind of coming, edging closer to me. So I say, yo, I mean, he's 20 yards from me. I'm like, yo, go left of him, go left. Right?
Yeah.
Nah, not this fool. He,
Right through it.
his goal was to push me away from him. He turned toward me to push me away from the school. Well, it was my goal for the rest of the day to make sure that he did not get position A. And I think he figured that out after about 40 minutes, and he kind of, you know,
I'm sure you forced him to watch you guys catch, countless numbers of fish in contrast to what he was catching too.
I didn't force him to do anything. He had front row seat.
Well, I'm curious when you are fishing like that, how you talked about the water being gin clear. I know with like speckled trout, they can be real leader shy. Is
Yeah.
the same true for a rockfish? Do you really have to step down your leader material and make sure you're using fluoro?
It's interesting you say that. I was tying on fluoro yesterday, and I always do FG knot to fluoro, and I've kind of, I'm using a little bit bigger baits now, so I'm using a 30-pound fluoro.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, when I got in on the day before, it was late and I was tired, and Seahawk was closed. So I'm like, shit. So I run to the Walmart, and they don't have anything I need. But I'll tell you what they did have. They had some storm lures. And
Yeah, those old wiggly tail storm lures.
yeah, and I'm like, you know what? They'll work. And I like to say that bait makes a big difference, but if they're feeding,
Doesn't.
doesn't really matter. So
Yeah.
I grabbed a bunch of those storm lures. I grabbed some of the, I guess they're 4 or 5 inches, and
Yeah.
I grabbed some of the bigger ones and a bunch of them, and out the door I went. Well, we're in them. It's happening. It's going on. And somebody cast, and the I don't know, the line was around the tip or around the reel or around their hand. I don't know what it was around, but the thing goes flying. It's amazing how far you can cast them when the line breaks. And
Right. No resistance.
yeah, and so we're in them. So rather than, I grabbed another rod, because I carry a dozen. They're all
Yeah.
the same way. So I passed that up and I grabbed the other one. I said, yeah, shit. So I tied the storm lure straight to the white braid, that white braid. And it wasn't 2 or 3 minutes later, somebody else lost a thing on the, we were fishing on structure this time. And so I handed them the storm lure with the white braid. First cast hooked up. I'm like, yeah, there goes that
No.
theory. There goes that theory.
Wow.
How
So when
much
they're feeding, they're feeding. They're
it's
not
it's
leader shy, nothing.
it's on. So we've been finding them on the channel edges. And I'm in 20 to 30 feet of water is where I am. And that's kind of where they've been. Deep water structure around some of the wrecks,
Mhm.
in about that same depth have been very productive, usually on the latter part of the tide. When the current starts to slow down a little bit,
Mhm.
I'll gravitate to that, and that type of scenario is really, really made for the metal jigs. I'm a big fan of a metal jig in somebody's hand, because especially if the fish are on the bottom and they're feeding, then I know they're going to be in the strike zone. And
Right.
yeah, one of the things that is so important in doing this, and especially if we're using either the metal jigs or the soft plastics, is being able to contact the bottom, knowing where the bottom is, being able to feel it, and move that jig across it, and what we like to do is I'm not a fan of jigging beside the boat. I'm not. We want to cast out. Especially if there's breaking fish. I want to be right on the edge of them. And you gotta cast to get to them, because the closer you
Right.
get to them, then
Spook 'em.
yeah, you're gonna spook them. And they're very much like the sharks and the tunas offshore these days down south. Those fish know that sound is something that they don't want to be around. So
Right.
I want to be as far, and if I'm able to do that, and I'm able to control that drift, and we're able to be quiet, then we can work, a school of fish for quite some time. And it's neat. I love to do it if I'm just the only boat, but it's really cool to do it, with a couple other boats, and you can see everybody else having success. And that's kind of neat to be able to do that.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's kind of the dream, is to be out there and like everyone's enjoying it because they're working together. We've talked about that in the summertime about like the schools of red drum. There's plenty of them, but everybody has to work together and communicate in order to be able to enjoy it. Otherwise, you'll end up pushing them down. And that's so interesting to hear about the white braid and them not caring about leader when they are actually feeding. Um, I mean, obviously, a leader is still advantageous to have. You'd
Yeah,
want to have a leader if you
it is.
could. Um, but that's really interesting. And then, in terms of you talking about like liking the metal jigs for when those fish are on the bottom and getting down into the strike zone. Two-part question. One, how heavy of a jig are you using? And then two, what action are you giving it when you're fishing that metal jig?
Yeah. One of the things that I use that I just started using, I came across them some time ago. There's little clips. There's little, I don't know, speed clip type of things.
Yep.
And I was not a fan of those with the popping cork. I thought it would be a great idea with a popping cork, because I could, if I wanted to switch off from popping cork, something I could do it pretty quick. And I just wasn't a fan for whatever reason. It got tangled up and this and that. But I am using that now with metal jigs with a lot of success, because it's basically a loop knot. It's a metal loop knot.
Right.
And
Right. It gives a little more action.
it really does. And the size I use is dependent upon my depth and how fast my boat's moving. I'm not using the trolling motor a lot this time of year um, because of the noise. I want to be as stealthy as possible.
Wow. So you don't even use the trolling motor, you just drift.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it sounds kind of stupid, but every now and again that motor will burp. She'll come out of the water, and that's some noise, and I've seen that affect the bite. And
Yeah.
you know, and right now we're, yeah, I'm in. It's a lot of rockfish where I am, uh, but it's not that I'm only fishing for a sliver of what we used to fish for back in the day. We
Right.
so I'm trying to do everything we possibly can to maximize our opportunities, and
Hmm.
having the trolling motor off helps me do that. But so,
Yeah.
depending on how fast we're drifting, the other day, I'll usually start with about an ounce and a half or two. We went up to 4 the other day. Uh,
Wow.
Metal, because we were moving. It was windy. Uh,
That's a 4 ounce ball jig.
no, I'm using the cripple herons or those ahi jigs.
Okay. But the head of it is a 4 ounce head with the hook on it that you're then putting what, like a
No, I'm not putting anything on it. I'm just running a metal jig bear. Yeah, it's a
really?
yeah, it's like a diamond jig type of thing.
Oh, got it, got it.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm thinking of like your traditional jig that like your Z-Man lure goes on.
Mm,
So you're talking
no,
about like an actual diamond jig, like almost like you'd use for like sea bassing offshore type thing.
exactly. Yeah, same thing.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not adorning it with anything. I'm not putting any. I'm just bouncing that on the bottom, and they love it.
Interesting. Okay, so just little what quick pops up and down, letting it flutter
Yeah,
back down.
yeah. If they're tight on the bottom, it depends. If they're kind of really really tight on the bottom, and there's not a lot of fish. We'll go with about a 12 inch or four, really small up and down, small drop. Keep
Yeah.
the lure there, but if they're stacked up like the pictures that I sent you,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's just get it in the water, you know.
You're right, right, right. It doesn't really matter. And
Yeah,
that also brings up another good question too, which is like learning to read your side scan and making sure that you've got it, dialed in correctly. What's your strategy for dialing in your side scan and when you're reading it? Like, how do you know when it's stripers or rockfish versus like little piles of bait?
Well, number one, YouTube's a big help.
Okay.
I would say read the manual, but who does that? Uh,
No.
YouTube's a big help, and that's good. And number two, find, I'm sure you got friends that have them, and
Yeah.
talk with them, and that's what I've been able to do. Captain Jamie Clow with Eastern Shore Light Tackle, and Captain Pete Dahlberg with Four Seasons, and Captain Brandon Wingate with Salt Tail, and Captain Cole Langley with Desperate Measures, and all those guys have been very, very helpful and help because they made me look bad this summer a few times, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Those people I just named, you'd see them, and Griffin, Steve Griffin, they're like they were running with their side scans on, and you'd see like Brandon would stop and turn around, and the rest of them would circle up, and they're all hooked up, and I'm going,
What in the world?
I'm at a disadvantage, and I don't like this, and
Yeah.
you know, and they were, they were cool if I got in on it, but I didn't want to feel like I was, horning in on their, I didn't want to feel like a crumb chaser. Uh,
Right.
but I'm like, okay. So,
That's interesting.
I bought the product, and, and I'd see what I think, and it took a while to kind of be able to read it and to do it, get it adjusted properly, and then, then every time I use it, I get more and more comfortable with, I see something and that's a fish. Yeah. Oh, their bait. The bait is primarily a big cloud, if you will, uh,
Hmm.
and that's easily discernible. The fish, imagine, if you will, a flashlight shooting out on both sides of your boat for 200 feet. There'll be a little white spot with a shadow behind it. And they're your fish. What I did, I went to some places that I knew what I was looking at, bridges and things like that, and was able to go, okay, and kind of figure out the basic operation modes of it. And then when I would, see things that I wasn't sure about, I'd send the guys a picture of it. Hey, hey Jamie, what's this? And
Yeah.
and it'd be like, you're an idiot. Keep driving.
That's really helpful to even to just get that picture in my head of like, oh, think about it like a flashlight hitting something and leaving a shadow behind it. That's much more likely a suspended fish.
Mhm.
So that's really cool, man. I told, my Uncle Bruce as well as RC, I'm like, we got to get up there and even if it's cold and uncomfortable, I don't care. I'm like, we got to get up there and go fishing with Captain CL so we can experience, a really good day on the water because it's
Yeah,
not.
I don't know what'll happen with this fishery moving forward, but I can tell you this, Luke Barton. Right now, it's pretty damn good, and it's just not me. It's a lot of folks out there are finding success, and that makes me happy. And
Yeah.
it's good, and I feel, and it seems like this that the other day my boat was covered with sea lice. I mean, I had sea lice everywhere.
Oh,
Right. So these are oceanic fish, I do believe, moving in. And they're getting a little bigger every day. I think we're 33, 35 is probably the biggest fish we've caught.
oh wow.
Yeah, most of them right now. I mean, most of them are in the slot, on the upper end of the slot. I cannot remember. It's been a long time since I've caught one under the slot. I mean, that's kind of what,
That's a good sign.
well, it is today, 3 years from now, maybe not. but,
Right.
but,
Right.
uh, right now this is what we're doing, and I think I saw somebody yesterday had one that might have gone 40, and they're coming. They're
Yeah.
and this wintertime fishery, um, it, there are folks who do it down on the Eastern Shore of Virginia. Captain Clint Lassard was shown off, and some
Yep.
guys, they do that slow eel trolling, and they catch
Hmm.
they catch hammerfish.
Yeah, those big trophies.
Yeah, well, we're catching those fish as well, but we're doing it on light tackle jigs, and maybe not as big as he tends to catch a bigger grade of fish doing that than we will. We'll catch some
Yeah.
30s and stuff, but the opportunity is there, and it happens with regularity. And it's kind of neat to have a medium lightweight rod and a 3/4 ounce bucktail tied into a
Bang.
40-inch striper,
Oh yeah.
And the other thing that makes me feel good about it is release mortality is low. University of Massachusetts study gave them about a 3% release mortality rate, which was down from the 9% that the Maryland's DNR had used as the rule of thumb for some period of time. So, cold water, artificial lures,
Yeah.
don't keep them out of the water very long. It's very, very high, success rate there. Very, very low mortality rate there, as opposed to August live bait, low oxygen content, and those fish ain't going to make it.
Right.
So we're happy that we're able to do that. We're happy that, that the fishery is what it is. It's good right now. And,
That's really encouraging to hear. How long do you think it'll stay good, or even, let's just say okay? How long do you think this will last?
Last year we caught them well into January. The main base stem, it tends to be a little warmer. Water stays a little warmer, and the bait tends to stay there. And we caught them well into January. When it warmed in February and March, it was good fishing as well. I think the fish are there. It's just whether we're going to be tough enough to go get them.
Right, when it gets really, really cold. And I mean, between now and mid-January, do you guys
Yeah,
have do you guys have dates available for the brave souls that want to get a little chilly?
it's a little sparse right now. I'd like to say that we're fully booked, but we're not. Uh,
Okay.
the big issue right now is able to get out there and be comfortable. With this
Hmm.
with this new boat, we've got curtains and all that stuff, and that takes some heat out of it.
Oh yeah, especially when you're moving from spot to spot.
Yeah, yeah. But then again, one of my buddies from an Ancock the other day, he was in a 60-foot Viking down there doing it. So, which is probably a little bit more comfortable than I was, but
Yeah, for sure.
not much.
Yeah. Well, if folks are listening and they want to get out there and get with you to go do a striped bass trip on light tackle, which sounds absolutely awesome and fun,
Yeah.
um, and with that not slow pitch jigging, but that jigging type fishing that you're doing, it doesn't sound like it's so technical where like you can do it with gloves on, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd encourage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it with gloves on, and it's something that it's not that difficult. Folks that can pick it up pretty quickly, and
Yeah.
and I see it happen every day, and it's kind of neat, man. Because for a lot of times, a few folks haven't done this. It's a little bit different,
Right.
and
Right.
and it's effective. And when you find success doing it, when you catch the first one, you can see the light bulb go off. People like, I got
Yeah.
this.
Like this is fun. This is good.
Yeah.
I need to do more of this. So if folks are listening and they want to go ahead and book that trip, maybe it's a good Christmas present, or they got family coming in town for the holidays and this would be the perfect thing to do together. How do they go about getting a trip booked with you?
Well, phone call at 410-251-7341. I'd encourage you to go on the Facebook or the Instagram and
Hmm.
check us out there at Tangier Sign Charters, and one of the things that we do, I do this all the time, did it today. For folks who want to give the gift of fishing and the Tangier Sign Charters experience, I'd encourage that as a Christmas gift. Uh,
Oh yeah. That's
Absolutely.
brilliant.
Yeah, I have gift certificates that we can shoot out, and they're redeemable for a mutually agreeable time.
Hmm.
It makes a great gift. To keep an eye on our social media platform, because you'll be seeing a little bit of a savings coming up,
Hmm.
over the Christmas holiday, and pretty easy, Venmo me the money, send me a check, meet me with some cash, whatever. We can work that out, and I'll email you a gift certificate that's suitable for gift giving.
That's perfect. Yeah, that would make for a really good gift, especially if you've got a fisherman in your life. Well, Cap, it's always great having you on the show. I always learn something. You always get my ear bent and get me thinking about, oh, I could try this different next time. I think the one tip I learned today that made me really key in on is like get my Garmin configured to have the tide showing. I mean, what an obvious thing, but
All
we
you
don't
do,
we don't have it, and it's like it should be right there. That way it's like ever present in terms of like the next decision you make about where you're going to run or what you're going to do or how you're going to fish should be looking at the tide.
I'll tell you this, on the last trip that we made, uh, I looked at the tide trace right there. You hit info, and it's on they'll come up on the top right-hand corner of the screen, hit ties and current, select nearby station, and boom, there it is.
Right there. Yeah.
Do this, Luke. and
Yep.
and what I did, I looked at it, I go, okay, and I knew in which one of the points, north or south, that I'd have current when I started. And I made the decision there, instead of running north to south, I ran south to north, and I stayed on moving water all day, and we had fish all day.
That's awesome. That's such a great takeaway for anybody listening to consider, tide in terms of where you position yourself and how you fish. Yeah, man, always great having you on the show. Thank you so much. And we look forward I'm excited to post these pictures that you shared because they're incredible. But seriously, it's always a pleasure having you on, man. Thank you so much for taking time to make a report.
Luke, thank you so much. And I got to tell you, that one the hummingbird shot, that's on there, buddy.
Oh, that is something. That is definitely something. Well, folks, that's going to wrap up a really awesome striper focused segment with Captain CL with Tangier Sound Charters. Like you said, give them a shout, get on the Facebook, get on the Instagram, give the gift of a charter to a friend or a loved one. That gift card would be a great Christmas present. You guys stick around for a word from some of our great sponsors that make this kind of great content free for you each week. And we'll be back with you real soon.
Pure Flat slick lures are tried, true, and guide approved. Slick lures catch big speckled trout, redfish, flounder, and more. You can cast them a mile, and they produce a highly erratic bait fish imitation with a twitching retrieve. The tournament-winning slick has helped many anglers set personal best records. Whether you're fishing the OG slick, the smaller profile slick junior, or the versatile little slick, one is sure to find that unforgettable thump we're all after. Visit your local tackle retailer or pureflats.com for your favorite color and rigging combination. Go sling some slicks today. You can't catch them on the sofa.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Black Buffalo products are intended for adults age 21 and older who are consumers of nicotine or tobacco.
If you're 21 or older and use nicotine or tobacco, it's time you charge ahead to Black Buffalo, America's only credible smokeless tobacco alternative. Black Buffalo dips just like the real thing, but without the tobacco leaf or stem. Get it now at Wawa, Circle K, Sheetz, Love's, Pilot, Racetrack, and many more that you can see on their store locator at blackbuffalo.com. Black Buffalo Tobacco Alternative is everything you love about dip, nothing you don't.
All right, guys. Well, I wanted to get offshore a little bit this week, but obviously it's a lot of excitement with Bluefin, and so I figured, hey, we got to talk about some Bluefin tuna. So I want to welcome back to the show somebody who does it all from inshore to nearshore to offshore, Captain Eric Myers with Heads and Tails Charters. Welcome back to the show, Cap. How we doing, brother?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm down here in Pensacola, Florida, Pensacola Beach, and it's cold and rainy. So I don't know that I'm doing too much better than you guys. I saw some posts on the Instagram this morning. It looked like you guys were headed out at like what, 4 a.m., 4:30?
Yeah, bright and early.
Ugh.
Just got off work, ready to go.
Well, two things I want to know from you is, one, which boat were you taking? Were you taking the super skiff offshore?
No, we're taking the Contender.
I know. So you guys have had 2 trips now for Bluefin tuna, right? The other day and then today?
Yeah.
Well, let's start with today. What happened today?
Well, we did a lot of trolling, a lot of listening to people hook up, a lot of hearing people let go fish. By a lot, a few.
That stinks.
It is what it is. It's Bluefin fishing out of Virginia. Better than, nothing.
That's true, especially for this time of year. Now, when you said you heard people letting them go, do you mean that they were shorts?
Yeah, too small to keep.
Right, because right now is the commercial only, because the recreational was not open for the month of December. So for commercial, what's the length minimum size requirement?
It would be 73 inches.
Got it. Okay. And the other day you guys went and you managed to catch one. How big was that one?
I'd probably say about 65 inches.
Got it. So that's like a 150 pound roughly?
Yeah, 120 to 150.
Yeah.
I'd say.
That sounds about like the one that we caught last year. I think it was 67 inches, 129 pounds or something along those lines. But what's sad is you get back to the dock today and then the news breaks that, I mean, how do you feel about that?
It figures. We got an extended season last season, so I figured we were due for a 5-day season this year, 6-day season.
That's so brutally disappointing. You're out there, you feel like you've got all the gear together. Maybe folks this year invested in their dry suits or their life rafts to be ready to go to commercially, harvest and sell, and then boom, NOAA shuts it down 5 days into the season. So tomorrow, December 5th, will be 11:30 p.m. It's over. And is that for the rest of the year or for the rest of until further notice?
I believe that's for the rest of the year, unless something changes until
And then,
January 1st.
okay, so I'm not familiar with how that works. I know there's like varying regulations that apply differently to charter headboats that have their commercial permit, and then there's separately the angler permit for recreational. And you have to kind of look carefully at that NOAA site, at that chart, to see what's opened or closed and what those regulations are for like size for landing, as well as how many per person or vessel per day per year. So as of right now, do we have any, is there hope for a January 1st opening, or is it to be determined?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be open January 1st for recreational. How
Okay.
long? That's a different.
Right. I guess it could happen similarly to what we saw with commercial, where it gets shut down relatively quickly. That's so disappointing. I mean, it's such an incredible fishery to have at our fingertips. And then for the regulations to come down so tight so quick, it's a little disappointing. I wish I knew more about it to comment on it, but I don't. It just seems unusual that it would have ended so quickly. Maybe you think it has something to do with like northern states and how many they caught so far this year?
I believe it's part of the Mid-Atlantic region. So I mean, I believe it's from Moorhead to here. I think up to Jersey.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, 37 tons or 38 tons is really not that much.
Oh, 38 tons is the quota. So you figure average fish is probably weighing what, 200 pounds. So 100 fish would be a ton. So 38 tons would be 3,800 fish captured. I guess doesn't take that
No,
much.
I don't think we even had that much because I believe they go by live weight when they do the quota.
Meaning like
So
the
it's
whole
all,
fish.
yeah, whole fish when it had guts and everything.
So what would you say the average commercial bluefin fish weighs?
I would say they were from like 350 to 500,
Okay.
anywhere in there.
Yeah, so I guess if you think about it like that, let's say the average is 350, we'll go on the smaller side. So if you take 38 tons, that's 38 times 2,000. 38 times 2,000, and then you divide that by 350 pounds, it's only 217 fish. So
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't take a whole lot to get there, does that? That's
No.
you can make quick work of that. And is that
Yeah.
what the metric or the measure was last year? Was it 38 tons? And then we just took a longer time to get there, or did they decrease it this year?
It decreased it, but there was some reason they kept it open. There was like a flaw in one of their was it their website or something? Or their reporting.
Oh, in the permit data or something along those lines? Like it
Yeah.
didn't get through in time and then it stayed open longer because the data didn't show up?
Yeah. Something
Oh,
like that.
interesting. Well, talk me through the actual fishing. I mean, what was it like? How far out were you guys having to go to see birds and bait working? Talk me through the trip that you guys did catch one. What were the conditions? How far were you? Water temperature? All the good stuff.
I think our water temp was like 55. We initially went to go sea bass and didn't leave till like 11, so we could let the weather calm down. So we ended up getting out to like the fishing grounds around 1 o'clock or so.
So you still went out a little ways, still went out past like the 20-mile mark.
Yeah, we ran out to the windmill bases to go sea bass fish. And on our way out, we had tunas blow up just east of the tower,
Mm.
um, which reluctantly I was talked into running past so we could go get something to eat first. Yeah, Ryan drives a hard bargain.
You really wanted to fill up on sea bass before chasing a bluefin, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. He the whole time was rough.
So was it the day that you guys went, was it not December 1st yet?
No, no, it's
Ah, November
last
30th or whatever it
Saturday.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah. So in that sense, I can totally understand why it makes more sense to go secure the groceries first before going for the fun catch and release. So you went out to the windmill bases. Did you guys actually see bass fish?
yeah. We see bass fish for a whole 45 minutes, and then our buddy Robert Smith was out. We both were going around the same area to go try, and I think we had just pulled up to our second piling, and he called me on the radio saying they were hooked up, and I looked at Ryan, and I was like, we gotta go, we gotta go, and then I think we boxed up like 4 or 5 more sea bass and boogied out of there. Ran about 2 3 miles west of the windmill bases, put lines in, trolled for about I don't even think we trolled for 20 minutes. Longer
Got
went.
hit. So
Yep.
you saw tunas blowing up east of the light tower, and then you went to the first set of windmill bases and then started just west of there and started trolling. So you were somewhere between the tower and the windmill bases when you started your troll.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And did you start trolling just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, or did you slow down and start trolling once you saw birds or bait?
I made a marker where that fish blew up. Stopped about half a mile from that.
Okay, got it. Do you feel like they were thick in there, or you just happened to see like one school?
Never know with those things.
They move quick, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah. Man, so what were you guys fishing? How many rods did you have out, and what were you using for trolling lures?
We always fish four for bluefin. Two flat lines, two longs.
What'd you have out there?
Two 3 ounce heads, and then two 8 ouncers. Eight
And I'm
ounces.
assuming 8 ounces on the flats, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are down lower, and then out long were you 3 ounces. And what'd you have? And you've showed me before, and I'm not good at remembering the different names. I remember that one day you stopped by the dock when we were attempting to tie up yellowfin lures and gave us a bunch of corrective guidance, shall we say. But is it the Islander or the Joe Shoot that we like for bluefin?
The Joe shoe. Typically those lead headed ones.
Okay. And were you just fishing a naked Joe Shoot, or were you actually tying a ballyhoo on?
No, we had a ballyhoo.
Okay.
A medium large ballyhoo.
And obviously, you've got to have a 130 or at least an 80 to be targeting bluefin, correct?
I mean, you can catch them on a 50. It's just gonna be really sporty. And you got to be really fast.
Yeah, Austin
And you
McDonald and
better
I tried that one time, and it was not an enjoyable experience.
no time you hook a bluefin on a 50 is enjoyable.
No, and it was a jumbo. It was a 400 plus pounder. I mean, you're just 100% at that fish's mercy. I wouldn't even describe it as fun. It was more or less like, can we
Drive the boat to it and try to break it off.
exactly try to get as much line back as we possibly could. But and were you guys able to actually get the one fish, the bite that you got? Were you able to get it to the boat?
Yeah, we got a good release on it. Got the
Nice.
hook out and took a couple pictures and revived it real well and let her swim off.
So talk me through landing a bluefin tuna. I mean, getting one of those things to bite in the first place is remarkable because it's such an incredible fish and they're so powerful. But then landing it without, breaking your thumbs or your fingers or hurting yourself or hurting the boat. I mean, what's the process for a safe release like that and getting the hook out? Like, how do you do all that without getting hurt?
We use a really small lip gaff
Okay.
and we try to get it in the bottom jaw. That way you can pull it up so you can get the hook out and you're able to hold them face first in the current. Oh, we'll put the boat in gear and you can hold them with the gaff off the side of the boat and let them swim, get them really revived, and then you're able to push the gaff down and it pops right out of his mouth.
Okay. So if you've got the boat going with current and you're holding it by its face, its mouth, are they pretty docile? Do they kind of relax and stop going crazy?
Yeah, typically.
Got it.
Typically, They're beat up pretty good. Yeah, fighting. What's up,
Yeah,
Jordan?
especially if you fought him for a little while.
Well, I didn't catch that.
Is that Mr. Jordan Nestor, the one and only
No, Peters.
Jordan Peters? Ah, did they just
Yeah,
get back
he's
in
not
from
a pro.
Bluefinning?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Who is that? Do I know you?
Nah, it's Luke. Luke Barton.
Oh, okay. I know of you. You don't know
Yeah,
me.
I know of
It's
you as well.
That guy goes and catches bluefin by himself.
My goodness. Well, Jordan,
Yeah.
you're live on the podcast, man. We're just talking
Oh,
about the
no.
bluefin
Am I
tuna
really?
fishing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you are. Did you go out today?
No, I did not. I had to work. Nobody would work for me.
Ah, that's a
I
bummer.
tried.
We're just lamenting the early closure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Captain Eric, you just said Jordan goes out and fishes for bluefin by himself. Is this true, Jordan?
On his rowboat.
Yeah.
Am I really? Am I on TV or radio?
You're on a podcast.
Oh, okay.
So you've actually
yeah,
you've done it by yourself?
I fished all year by myself. I caught
Wow.
2 of them.
That's remarkable, man. I mean, that's a dangerous feat in and of itself. But I mean, what were some of the little tricks that you used to actually land a fish by yourself?
Yeah, the first one was like close to 250,
Wow.
and the second one was 509.
Good Lord, by yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, how in the world did you actually land it? Like, did you just leave the boat in autopilot and go back there and fight it?
Well, to be honest with you, the first one, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack, and I realized how out of shape I was when I gaffed it. But that one was pretty easy to pull in the boat. The second one was a harpoon.
Wow.
You know, that took a
That's
while.
awesome.
That took 4 hours.
By yourself. You're the only person on the boat.
Yeah, and on a 6-aught.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, hooked it at the triangles and landed it like a mile outside the light tower.
Wow. So you fought it almost what? 10 miles?
It was every bit of 4 hours. I don't know how many miles that is though.
Yeah, it's roughly
12.
10 miles. 12 miles ish from, because it's 15 or so to the tower from the beach, and then it's 27 to the windmill bases. So yeah, about 13 miles. That's ridiculous, man. That's awesome though. I mean, that's a story in and of itself.
Yeah, it was
That's the
insane.
guy you need to talk to for the podcast.
Well, here we are. And Jordan, what size boat were you fishing out of?
It's 24 feet. It's a 1973 Performer.
Holy cow.
Hey, she's freshly rebuilt though. I rebuilt it last winter.
Oh, nice. It's not orange, is it?
Orange, no.
No.
Was it last year or the year before the orange boat was infamous on the radio?
No, that wasn't me. My boat's gray.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. There was an orange boat. It was an orange or a red boat. It's like, oh no, here comes the orange boat. It was cutting everybody's lines off. But what made you think, hey, this is probably doable? I could go out and do it by myself. Like, was there an inspiration? Was there a moment of like, hell yeah, I'm going to do this? Or
Just pure stupidity.
No, I don't.
Will to do it.
There's not a lot of.
Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ernest Hemingway, and
there you go.
most of the gear I have is probably similar. But I don't like to fish with a lot of people. But there's not a lot of people I would like to be on a boat all day with. So
Right.
I'm usually by myself anyway.
Man, my hat's off to you. That's an incredible feat. Are you going to think about you going to do it again this year if we get the opportunity?
For sure.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, I'm going to keep my eye out for you. If people want to follow you on the social medias, what's your handle? You don't have it?
I don't have social media.
Good for you, man. You're probably living a very low stress. That's like that country song, "Breaking Up Was Easier in the '90s" because we didn't have all that social media crap. You could just move on and you didn't have to see anything. But good on you for no social media and being Ernest Hemingway. I'm assuming you fish like what, Penn Senators and
What I can afford, and that's pretty much it. I think the line on the reel is probably worth more. I'm
That's
just kidding. They are
incredible.
old, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with them.
No, that's incredible though, man. Shoot, a 500-pound fish by yourself. And people that are listening to us talk about these fish, that have never had the opportunity to go be toe to toe with one of these fish, there's really no words to describe the power that you feel on the other side of that line. And so knowing how much coordination it takes between typically 3 or 4 guys, somebody on the wheel, somebody helping the angler, maybe switching out from time to time, and then somebody on the gaff, and then somebody on tail rope. That's a coordinated effort with 3 or 4 guys to capture one fish. So I'm like struggling to even comprehend how you manage to do it all by yourself. I mean, that the orchestration you must have been able to do, remarkable.
Yeah, it was a circus. But what was funny was I had some buddies were telling me that they thought they saw a ski boat in the distance fighting a tuna, and it was me.
That's awesome. That is so
Yeah.
cool, man. What was going through your mind when the clicker went off, and once you got a feel for the fish and realized it was a big fish,
said,
what went
fuck,
through
I
your
did it now.
yeah, what went
Yeah,
through your
man.
brain?
It was just chaos. I've never done it before. I mean, I've fished my whole life, but not tuna fish. I just got lucky.
Yeah,
It was it was a chaotic mess, but I made it,
that's
figured
awesome,
it
man.
out.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. You're giving me vibes from the guy last year that we interviewed, Stefan Turco, who went out and did it off a kayak. It's just that man versus beast, and now you can say that you've done it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to do it again. I was hoping to do it again, and I ended up closing everything down, but I don't know.
Well, hopefully January 1st we'll get another shot at him.
We'll see.
Yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. We were doing the math on it earlier, and it was, assuming the average fish was about 350 pounds, that 38-ton bag or whatever it was that Noah had. I mean, that's only like 215 or so fish. So I guess we got there pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
Well, man, thanks for stopping by and hopping on the show unexpectedly.
Yeah, I wasn't
that
aware
was
of
a
this,
neat
but it was
story.
nice to meet you.
You too. I'm sure we'll see you around.
That's the guy right there.
That's the guy, huh?
Ate up with it.
That's awesome.
Rebuilt his whole boat just to go catch bluefin
That's amazing.
by himself.
That's truly amazing. I mean, hey, that's one of the cool things. I mean, that's what, kids will be talking about in 10, 20 years. I mean, kind of making history here. This
Yeah.
fishery wasn't really
They're definitely going to write a book about Jordan Peters. Yeah, Jordan Hemingway.
So, Cap Merrick, what's next for Heads and Tails? With the closure happening, are you guys going to go shift gears back into nearshore rec charters? What are you guys thinking?
We're just be fishing mostly inshore, and we'll still be running, fun trips for catch and release.
Or catch and release for the bluefins?
Yeah.
Now, in your understanding of the regulations and the way that works, is it kosher to target bluefin tuna for catch and release purposes, or is that considered a no-no?
I don't really know. I figure if you put enough heat on them, I mean, that's what the boys up north do. They don't kill a bunch of them, but they go out and catch and release charters.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
yeah,
as long as you're not fighting them like Ernest Hemingway over there
forever.
I don't see
Yeah,
why that would be detrimental to the fish.
right. That makes perfect sense. That was cool that Jordan stopped by. I didn't know that he had gone out there by himself. I mean, that's. I mean, I'm assuming he had all of his safety gear and a float plan and had
Oh yeah.
thought it out well. But that's a dangerous venture to do it by yourself. So many things can go wrong. I think we talked about it last year. It's like a bluefin tuna and the power that they present will show you any imperfection in your gear or the way that you're fighting them.
Yep.
Wild, man. So how was the sea bass bite? Was it slow?
It was good.
Really?
I caught my biggest sea bass.
Really? How big?
I have no idea. Never measured it, never weighed it.
You just knew it was big? They were the biggest you've ever seen?
It's the biggest one I've ever caught. I've always handled the rod off.
There you go. Well, that's exciting to hear. I mean, I guess we'll just stay tuned and kind of keep an eye on the NOAA site and see what happens with the bluefin fishery. And then until then, if folks are looking at trip opportunities, like you said, you've got the inshore stuff. If we wanted to book you just to go, sea bass and maybe troll for some bluefin, is that an option?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have dates available in December and January?
Yeah. Yeah, we have first week of January.
Roger that. Well, if folks want to get up with you and book a trip or tag along for an adventure, what's the best way they can contact you and get connected?
Either through my Valley Pro account or they can call or text me.
Valley Pro is your website. I'll be sure to drop that in the show notes for folks so they can get a good look at your different trips that you've got available. Inshore, nearshore, offshore. It's always between the pink dinghy. What are we calling it now?
I don't even know. The pink
The
skiff,
pink,
the black
the pink,
skiff.
the pink pony club boat.
Yeah.
It's a pink skiff with a tower, and then you've got the big jumbo skiff, 27 foot.
Yeah,
That thing is
27.
okay. Got it. That thing's awesome for fishability. You could have 6 people casting in every direction, and you're good to go. And then, of course, I'm always getting it wrong. Is it a 31 contender?
Yeah.
Nailed it. I always say 35. I think it's because of that step back at the end with where the motors are bracketed. It just looks a lot longer, but very cool. And what's that phone number if folks want to get up with you?
757-573-9569.
Awesome. Well, Captain Eric, thanks for being on the show and telling us a little bit about your couple of bluefin trips. Sorry, it got cut short, and hopefully we'll get another shot at them here before the end of the year and into next.
Yeah, man. Hopefully.
Awesome.
All
Well,
right,
you
bud.
guys go check him out on social media, Heads and Tails Charter. He's always fishing, always doing something. The adventure never ends. Fun to watch and keep up with. Y'all stick around for a word from our sponsors that make this great content free for you each and every week. And we'll look forward to talking to you next week. Be safe out there.
Serious shallow water anglers count on Stay Put Anchor to do exactly what the name says. Keep smaller boats locked in place. Fast, quiet, and without dropping a heavy, noisy hook. Built in the USA and designed for boats under 24 feet, Stay Put's solid fiberglass pole spikes pair with marine-grade bow, stern, or drill-free motor mounts for quick installation. So more time spent fishing and less rigging. Choose from 6-foot to 12-foot pole options and the versatile super handle to stake out on flats, sandbars, or in the pads. Affordable, dependable, and proven by anglers nationwide. Learn more or build a custom kit at stayputanchor.com. All right, y'all, that's going to wrap it up this week. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, to get your free AFCO Camo Sunglasses Cleaner Cloth, text the acronym LCBFR to 779-345-2918 to get your promo code and be added to our email list so we can send you the new show each week. You guys keep on whacking them and be safe out there.